Hello, hi, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you joining us today. Rose is here to visit with you. We're gonna get a little clarity, see what's going on overall with the energy, whatever would be helpful for you to know, overall situation, vibrations. This reading is timeless. Whenever it finds you, it's the right time. Just see what resonates, leave what doesn't, and always follow and trust that divine inner guidance that is in you. And try to make balanced decisions between logic and intuition. So your decisions are sound, based in love, and for the highest and greatest good of everyone. So we're all uplifted in love. Let's begin. Let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness, our higher selves, angels and energies of love, have for the highest and greatest good of all. It's funny because I kept looking at that when I was shuffling. Somebody is, it's like Six of Pentacles energy. Maybe some of you have a birthday coming up. If you do, happy birthday. Or you know somebody that has a birthday. Maybe it's even a wedding, a shower, a baby shower, a bridal shower, bachelor party. There is something coming up, graduation, where somebody is getting you a gift, or you are thinking about just the right gift for a certain person. It looks like maybe some of you are waiting last minute to get that gift. So if there is something coming up and you have appropriate time, perhaps it's doing that now, maybe today, so that you don't get to the day before the event and you're like, oh, totally forgot to get the gift. So I am getting that there's something more personal you can give other than like a gift card. So it's either something this person actually wanted or something you sort of kept like, check, I heard you in that conversation, and you kept, I feel like it's something special. I feel like for some of you, this could be a homemade gift as well. TikTok. For some of you, if this is a surprise to you, you could be surprised out of nowhere with, I just heard the gift of somebody's company. Maybe if that's a gift and you really enjoy, if you have the clock, all the numbers are popping off the clock here. So if you do really enjoy being with a certain person, enjoying their company, and time just goes away, you wish you had more hours in the day, more time, then that would be a gift. Maybe this is somebody who has a bit busy schedule. I feel like somebody has something sudden that changes and they're like, oh, we can do it now. Or somebody has to make some changes to be able to have this experience. I am getting with this little fairy popping out of the box that it is a surprise. For some of you, if you are procrastinating something else and it doesn't involve a gift right now, there's just something you have to get to, some paperwork you have to submit, or a phone call that you have to make, an appointment that you need to like set in stone. Sooner is going to be better than later. I also feel like some of you have a gift you haven't turned in. I saw that gift certificate or like a coupon or something like that. I do feel like some of you have maybe even a gift card kind of shoved in your wallet or in an old purse, an old wallet, your drawer somewhere. And maybe now is the perfect time to buy yourself that gift. But I do see that some of you have something where somebody gave you like a dinner or a massage or something more like that. It's like an experience and you either forgot about it or you put it on hold, and there's something about now being the perfect time to go get that massage. Let's see, what else would be helpful for the collective to know today? Oh, if some of you have, definitely, you're going to have something really beautiful. You have Treasure Island. So maybe some of you are like, I always think I'm such a dork and a kid. Like I always think of like a treasure hunt. So it's like you're going to follow the clues and have this experience and you get to the end, but it was the journey that was really exciting. There's also something where You have a lot of value coming in, opening up out of nowhere. This could be more opportunities than you even thought were going to come your way. Having more than one option. But it looks like your little island is on top of a turtle and kind of going with the flow. So maybe somebody was sort of quiet or in their shell a little bit, and somebody's coming out of their shell, finally moving towards you. And that could also be you kind of coming out of your shell. It's number 9. There's something about no man is an island, and something that you can do with someone else. And or if you always feel surrounded by a lot of people and that island is very crowded, thank you, Rose, then there is something kind of cool, and where the time sort of melts away, where you can do something like chillaxing on your own. So let's see if anything else. Rose is pushing the pets. She's going to stick her little head under my armpit in a minute. What is another message? And then we'll go to something different today. I feel like we should bounce around today. No, I went back. Are there any extra messages that would be helpful for the collective to know? Yes. I'm going to get to the end. If nothing pops out, that was our message. Okay, one more. One more. Oh, you got a loyal heart. There's somebody that really connects with you. They're loyal to you. They're going to follow through. This could be, for some of you, a surprise that all of a sudden you meet somebody and it's back and forth and equal exchange, and it doesn't feel like anyone in particular is always given a little more than the other one. It's like where it always comes back into balance. This is somebody who maybe it's an open window and not a big open door. You got a little like peekaroo through that egg that's opening up. Maybe something is about to open up or come out of hiding, or open up their heart, express how they feel. This could be a friend. This could be a family member. This could also be a little love and romance coming on in. It's definitely somebody where you're wise together. I'm getting like you have these owls. Even with the owls, they fly in silence. So there's something about you can sit in silence with this person, and you don't even really need to have a big conversation. You just enjoy each other's company. But I feel like when you do communicate, you have some pretty, I hear valid, and then I heard doozies, and then I heard expressive conversations. I feel like you have really good conversations with this person. A loyal heart. If this is advice or anything like that, this is somebody who has all of the best intentions for you and you for them. Maybe some of you have like a Bengal cat, or you own a turtle. I don't know if many of you own an owl, but if you have an owl that happens to hang out in your barn or anything, maybe that's a sign for you. Maybe even some of you go out in the middle of the night and you hear an owl. I've actually had owls like dodge in front of my car in the middle of the night. It's really weird. So maybe some of you see like maybe it's not an owl, but an unusual bird of some kind or animal. Maybe you see a turtle. I actually saw someone just stopping the car and holding traffic to get the turtle across the road. Oh, that was really cute. I also feel like some of you might get a new pet. I kind of don't think somebody's like, unless that's something you have asked for, Interesting, I saw all those birds. We're going to get I brought the divine feather. I feel like if you've asked for an animal and somebody knows that that is what you actually want, that is an amazing gift. It's a little big if you get that and the person doesn't know they're getting a dog in a box. Although I will say that sometimes we are gifted something that is exactly what we need, whether we knew it or not. So I do feel like some of you might be choosing to adopt or get a new animal. I even see that some of you might come across an animal that needs to be rescued, and you weren't looking for a new kitten. You weren't looking for, you know, a dog, and all of a sudden the right one finds you. So let's get you a divine feather. Maybe get one that makes funny noises like my rose here. Don't look at her, she's gonna Jedi mind trick me. What is a divine feather? Oh, and maybe some of you are getting a parrot. If you can, if any of you are a bird person, because not everybody is, you do know that if you get a parrot, it is a like 50-year forever kind of thing, because they live a long time. They also require a lot of work. I will just say that because I've had a parrot most of my life. It's kind of like having a 5-year-old that's also kind of like a dinosaur in a cage and outside forever. They poop a lot, they make their water dirty, they are really fun, they can talk to you, but they need a lot of stimulation. So do know that. But if some of you do have the capacity to, I would say, adopt. There are so many birds, like this macaw here. I had a friend that had a macaw, he adopted, and it was probably already in its late 50s, and it probably lived to be about 65, but it had like 2 or 3 other families. I think the one family they had was an elderly person, and the person passed away. And sometimes it's hard to take an adopted bird because they get used to what they knew. But sometimes you can be that one that adopts them and gives them a home that they never actually got to have, especially if you have stimulating conversation and you play with them. Yeah, I do feel like some of you are going to maybe adopt a bird. That could really change a bird's life. But parrots are also, they're just so intelligent. So side message, that's not for everybody. Oh, hold on, I hope I have my glasses. I hope I brought my glasses. Did I bring them? I thought I did. I got these little tiny words. I'm gonna grab my glasses. Hold on. Pause that at 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's a progression here. Also, speaking of numbers, we have 27, 39, and 35. The parrot. I have had like crazy dreams about macaws for some reason. I never owned a macaw, but I dream about them. I've had an eclectus and an African gray. Let go of others' thoughts and opinions. Very good advice from this parrot. Don't worry about what anyone else has to say, what they're thinking, what their opinions are. All of that is none of your business. And if it is overwhelming you or making you nervous or anxious or you are so concerned about it, you need to just let that go. People can think whatever they want. People think all kinds of weird things. What's more important is how you think, what you believe in, and how you adjust, change, and grow in your mindset, expand your mind. It is time to embrace, I love this message, who you really are. You know, if some of you are trying to live up to the expectations of anybody else, you know, that's a lot to live up to. That's also a lot of pressure to put on anybody else. I don't really think that's what you're doing. For some of you, this could be you getting clarity on what somebody else is growing within their life or what they are learning about themselves. Because sometimes that is a learned behavior. People are, you know, they learn to be overly focused on opinions of others. That makes a big difference in how they view themselves, and it shouldn't. You're going to groove with whom you groove, and if you don't, you don't. So, well, speaking of that, I think this deck of cards, I wasn't sure I was going to use it, but I do think it's appropriate because it's about growth. It's, what is it? Grow, repair, evolution, and growth. Such a weird title. So let's get you a message of growth. And I always, you know, like to mention to flip-flop things. If the message comes through and you're like, that's just not me, it might be giving you clarity and a little insight and wisdom on what somebody else is going through. So maybe you can be a little inspiration or helpful influence, or just have awareness that everyone's at a different stage and level of their own growth. So what is a message of inspiration helpful for the collective today? Oh, co-creation. So maybe that's why I mentioned that. So maybe you are co-creating with someone else, and maybe their opinions groove with you. Maybe others' opinions don't groove with you. This is somebody you can grow with. So maybe communication is key, but this is you specifically communicating with Source, your higher self, God, the universe. It's spirit guidance. So you're getting guidance in a particular situation, or somebody you're connected to is receiving guidance and listening. Because you can hear all those messages, but then not follow them, or get, sucked into the ego, or too worried about anyone else's opinions and not listen to that divine knowing inside of you. So this is where your spirit guides are starting to speak pretty loud to take you towards this loyal heart, or helping you with that situation, taking you on a little spiritual treasure hunt to your destiny, to prosperity, to this abundance in your world, to even having experiences where time doesn't seem like it's dragging and you're not really in it. Maybe it's exchanging gifts are bigger than just things or experiences. Maybe these are spiritual gifts for some of you. Like your insight is starting to really vibrate pretty high. Your spirit guides and guardians are here to assist you and help you to evolve into, embrace who you really are. It's the same message. This says to help you evolve into your authentic self, your truth. And it's who you become as you grow. We change throughout our lives. The time is now to see yourself as your spiritual team sees you. It's amazing. You're so unique and you're so special. They chose to help you out in this life for a reason, because they believe in you. They want to help you. The thing that happens with spiritual guides, they're not going to force you on your path. We are gifted free will. And there are times when they send some big messages, your angels, your guides, the universe, whatever you believe in, send big messages in, because there's a big path you're supposed to be on. You can listen or you don't have to. But usually it's just a little gentle nudge. And that's it. And they are always there if you ask. A lot of times, especially with your angels, they're not going to force themselves. We're here to learn the lessons, to go through those classrooms of life is how we learn. If they did our homework for us, we wouldn't learn the lessons so good. But we can have a tutor, You can ask for a little guidance. And if you ask, then you have opened up permission to allow it to come in, but you have to be open to the answer to be maybe not what you expect, but you're going to know it to be true. Sometimes it's in alignment with what we are thinking, but sometimes it is so distant to what our ego is trying to tell us. And a lot of times the ego tries to protect. So the ego learns to create blocks because it's prevention of pain. But if spirit guidance is coming through, it is going to be a gift to help you get through any kind of situation easier. See yourself as your spiritual team sees you. They ask that you remove all limiting thoughts and open yourself up to them. Meditation and asking for signs are a great way to deepen the connection. So maybe it's meditation for some of you. That's not your thing. It's okay. It's whatever works for you. Everyone's, everyone's tool or way of, training wheel situation is different. If someone is like, you have to meditate this many times per day, well, maybe for them they do. But maybe for somebody else, that's not going to work. If it's somebody like me, I can't really just sit still. So I would find active meditation something more beneficial. making some kind of project, or walking with Rose, or doing some exercise, you know, something like that. Maybe taking a bath can get me to sit still, but you have to find what works for you. For some, it's putting on some music. For some, it's just getting in your car and driving. But there is a message here that is the biggest, and it's to ask for help if you need it, if you don't know which way to go, and allow it to come through. It's not forcing it to come through at any point, you know, point in time in a certain way. But it will come in. You will get an answer. Sometimes it's synchronistic messages, numbers that you see, animals that cross your path. Whatever you see that for you is personal. I actually just saw a cardinal. For some of you, you might see a cardinal. Or maybe it's a, you know, a cool bird. Maybe for some of you, it's like a squirrel that comes to your little window every single day and it looks like it's looking at you. Whatever it is, maybe look up what that spirit animal is. Maybe we should do a spirit animal. What do you think? Yeah, I guess we should, since I mentioned that. I don't know if I have it. Oh, I do. I have it in my little treasure box here. We got the treasure island. So, and it's cool because it's actually a little box without a lid, so these cards can fit. So let's get you a spirit animal. I know, sweetheart, you're being very good. You're being very good, and I am multitasking here. I am doing the multitasking. It's that kind of reading. Why don't you come over here? Where's your pig? You have your pig? I don't know what you did with your pig. I'm going to get it later. So what is a spirit animal? These cards are so beautiful. That connects to you right now, or has a message, or wow, maybe you're going to come across an octopus. That would be a cool animal to accidentally see cross the road. So when did the octopus cross the road? What's the other one? You have two. Oh, well, maybe that's more on the lines of something you might see. If you see an eagle, a golden eagle, a bald eagle, there are a couple other ones, but that particularly, that particular omen or bird, if you see an eagle, this means you have a huge victory coming your way. This is also something that does resonate with the message that you are on the path to your soul's purpose and your destiny. And it's usually something bigger and more grand than your wildest dreams. It's a really high calling. It's a higher purpose. So if you hear an eagle, if you see an eagle, even if it's just coming across an eagle, it doesn't even have to be the actual bird. Sometimes it comes through like as a bumper sticker, something like that. Then that's your message. That means that there's something is about to happen, or pay attention to what you were thinking about at the time when you saw it. Were your thoughts high? You know, because you can neutralize weird thoughts. Everyone has weird thoughts, you know, getting down on themselves. You didn't handle that right. You didn't pass the test. You know, you should have called that person back, whatever it is. Just replace the weird thought with something that's high vibes. That's beautiful. Tell yourself something beautiful instead. You've already neutralized that weird vibration, had self-awareness, which is ahead of most people in the world. And you can change your mindset. You can reset it. And if you see an octopus, or you know anything about like the octopus, I think they're aliens. Just, that's my personal opinion. I kind of think they're aliens of the sea. They're amazingly smart. They can figure things out. They can, you know, open the jars when they know that there's a little fish in there. There's some video like channel that I have somewhere on my, you know, channel saved. And it's like, they put the octopus, you know, it has like a maze, and then it figures out how to open a jar, and then it looks at a hairbrush, looks in the mirror. There's like all kinds of things. I mean, I don't really think you should keep the octopus in a tank, but you know, they're really intelligent. There's also something about the feeling of all of their, I think I am regurgitating a little here on Animal Planet, but I think that they can think through their tentacles. If you've never seen my Teacher of the Octopus or something like that. It is on Netflix and it is amazing. I do suggest watching that. Also, really interesting thing. I don't know why I'm going to share with you right now, but I think I've said it in a reading before, so here goes. The only animal I've ever actually been, that's weird to think of, in a dream is an octopus. I can remember waking up like, what the heck was that? So, what is this number? Oh, 22 and 64. Rose is extra demanding on the old attention right now. So 22, also a master number. And then 10 is like the Wheel of Fortune, or 64. So do I have the booklet? Let me see. All right, let's see what these are for you, because you have two. It could be that you connect to both of these spirit animals. Oh, why is that the one missing? Or it could be that one is you, one is somebody else. My book is all out of order. Ugh. 41, 36, 32, 6, 19, 28. It's like the book of the High Priestess. It's like completely out of order. It's going to find you exactly when you want it, or when you need it. Oh, should I find it for you so you don't have to look? Yeah, hold on. I'm going to pause you. All right. So the one eagle, I can't even find the other side of it. But other than that, I will say, like, the octopus is, I always do think of the multitasking besides, you know, the intelligence of figuring something out. It feels like they could do a lot at once. So maybe you're multitasking. And I mean, the eagle's like the powerhouse bird of the sky, the king, the queen. I mean, they fly higher than any other bird. They're pretty magnificent. So let's look at the eagle first. The eagle is transcending limitations, symbolizing vision, courage, clarity. The eagle calls us to soar to great heights and attain a broader perspective. Its majestic flight and piercing gaze, we find inspiration to aim higher and maintain clarity in our goals and cultivate the courage to pursue them. I mean, it looks like you're receiving guidance here to co-create with source, but possibly in the future co-create with the right resources or people where you're really on this divine path. I feel like you knew you were special. You knew that there was something bigger, something kind of important in your soul. But I feel like some of you are really, really discovering what that is a little bit later in life. But it's that treasure hunt. You know, you get to the one clue, to the next clue, to the next clue. And I don't think you get to that treasure and open it up and there you go. It's like you open up that treasure and then those golden coins of opportunity open up. And then one by one, you have more opportunities that come into your world that take you on a new treasure hunt. It's not just like, here you go. Take your treasure, close the box, go home, sit on your couch. It's like, no, it's going to keep expanding. So octopus is juggle complexities with grace. It's intelligence, and it's the key qualities of the octopus. Its medicine involves multitasking and navigating intricate situations. So they can get through like the tiniest little hole. So it's getting through something that no one else can squeeze through. You're going to figure out how to squeeze through. And encourages us to find a creative solution. Drawing inspiration from the octopus, we can master the art of juggling life's complexities with confidence. Believe in yourself. You can do it. You can handle more than one thing at once. And if it feels like it's too complicated, bird by bird, you know, maybe one thing at a time. And eventually, step by step, everything gets done. Everything starts to kind of come together like this beautiful puzzle. But I don't feel like you get to the end and your puzzle is just done. It somehow keeps getting bigger and expanding. So Rose is extra demanding of my attention right now. We're going to go to this. This is the 8 coins tattoo tarot, and just see what the movement of energy is get a little deeper to see what would be helpful for you. So what is the overall situation to have awareness of or know about today that would be helpful for the collective that's watching this? Please and thank you. What is this? The Knight of Pentacles. That's the step-by-step. Slow and steady wins the race. This is the Knight. That's usually an earth sign. They're very logical. They're very dedicated. They're forthright. They continue on. It looks like there's something about opening up a new platform or opening up this pentacle that's in a little... What did I say before about something like, don't keep a poor octopus in a tank? It's like this pentacle is in this pretty little, like upside down vase or whatever it is, but it's floating in there. Maybe somebody was worried that that pentacle would float away. Something's been under lock and key. This is an offer. It looks like it's a very valuable offer, a tangible offer, because it's being protected by that Knight. He's almost like guarding this idea or this chance, this start, this purchase, this experience, people, places, and things, but who has the key to open that up, to let something out, to see how it can grow, because it's not going to grow very big just sitting in the china cupboard. It's going to grow a lot bigger if this Knight puts the energy and the focus and the attention and the effort into it and plants it into earth. Pretty as that seed may be, in fertile soil, you don't know what that seed might become. So the Knight of Pentacles is usually Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. It doesn't have to be, but it's somebody who sticks around. They get to the finish line, maybe not the fastest, and often the Knight is the one you don't always see working hard. They work harder than you always see in front of your face. They take something home and work on it after hours, behind a closed door. This is the Knight that knows when to gallop and do something fast when it's time of the essence, but it's also somebody that knows how to sit back and relax and water that horse. Take a break, take a nap if you're running on empty. There is a balance with that Knight, unless it's upside down. It's in balance. It's running on empty and not feeding your horse, or imbalanced between the spiritual world and the material world, because this is about earth. So it could be somebody who's working on something slow and steady and has all of these goals, but it's all about the stuff, the pretty things in the china cupboard, but never really galloping or feeling like that experience is ever really getting them anywhere. Even if the whole collection is complete, they get to the end and they're still not happy with something. When that Knight is involved and into something, their hands are in the dirt, they're feeling that experience, it becomes more of a get to and a fun to have kind of energy. That's why they always feel like a winner, because it's more about that journey where they're already a winner before they even started the race than whatever it is they're trying to obtain in the end. I hope that made sense. Tell us more about the Knight of Pentacles. I forgot that these are... let's take it. I'm going to take it. So maybe this is kind of what's hidden, or maybe because I had that weird energy thing that happened, maybe this is what the hesitation is. What to leave on the shore. What lessons that you don't have to drag along with you. What clarity finally enables you or ables you to leave something behind, let something go, untie anything that was roping you to that dock. As secure as it may feel, you're going to have a better experience taking that beautiful sailboat out to sea. It's learning from experiences. It's forward movement. It's maybe moving over an emotional situation, or now having a broader, clear understanding of any kind of emotional situation. It's learning from mistakes, and that moves you forward. And sometimes that has to be done via realistic, logical conversation. Not getting over analytical, not really getting over emotional. It's kind of just gliding along the surface, seeing things for what they are and doing what you have to do necessary to take that next step. If this is upside down, it's someone not taking that next step or forgetting to pick up the anchor, turning that motor on full blast and wanting that boat to, let's just say it has a motor because that's what I saw, wanting it to move and like yanking half of the dock off and dragging it behind or not getting anywhere. But sometimes somebody has to go through a situation like that where they learn so they know better in the future. It's swords, so it's logic, it's thoughts, it's ideas, it's conversation, it's communication. But it looks like something has to literally be left at the dock and somebody has to untie from a certain situation or is being untied because of new clarity. And this forward progression of movement feels like I hear a long-awaited journey. Like somebody's been waiting to finally move to a new land, see what's on the horizon. What else? What is the Six of Swords here? Let's see. I want to know what the like all those swords there. I'm going to ask what the clarity is about as far as what's being left behind. No longer needing to take the baggage. Because the clarity came after inspiration. The clarity came after one experience was had. Interesting that that's a fox, because that's the other thing I always see in the middle of the night. I feel like there's always little fox that wait for my car and they're like, wait, she's almost here, go. And then they run across the road. And a fox is also a very lucky omen. If you see a fox, it's usually you have a little burst of luck. Maybe you connect to that as, you know, a spirit animal as well. I also feel like they're kind of special. It's kind of like a cat. It's kind of like a dog, but it's its own thing. And this is a page, so it could be this baggage was left behind or this clarity was gained, this lesson was learned, this forward movement action was inspired because somebody felt a little guidance and sparkle in their spirit that felt a little different than just the everyday conversation, experience, or advice. There's something extra creative. It did say with the octopus that you have to have a little creativity in this movement. Also, if some of you are stepping into something that feels like it's resonating in your soul, but it's kind of new to your experiences so far in your life, it's okay to be new. It's okay to have this fresh energy and to start over, because you're starting over with creativity, with inspiration. You still have to gain that maturity, whether that's in a partnership or how you are working on a project, but you're learning a new skill, or how you're in a new environment. It's that fresh energy of the page. So even if you are an expert at something, but you start a job and you now have new coworkers, that whole experience is now new rules, new people, you know, new things that you have to work on, even though your expertise might be up there on that fancy platform. You have to sometimes allow yourself to go back to the drawing board and relearn something. I'm kind of getting that this has to do with follow through as well. Because sometimes, look at that upside down. Sometimes if this is more of a personality trait, and it can be a younger person, it can be somebody who has a lot of potential, but not that much experience. But I'm kind of feeling here that this is more of a at any age situation that somebody could possibly get really excited about something, and then they start a project and then maybe get sidetracked over here because they have other things they have to get done. So they never go back to that project. It's like starting a painting and it's like halfway done and it's going to be a masterpiece. And then you get sidetracked with work and paying the bills and picking up the kids and going over there, and you never get back to that painting to see what a masterpiece it could have been. It's like starting a bunch of projects, sometimes too many irons in the fire, and not enough focus on all of them or any one in particular. So that has to be an adjustment that you need to have consciousness about. You know, are you trying to handle too many things at once? Is the right amount of attention at least being placed in each thing on a regular? Or is there something that can be put a hold so that you can more regularly put more time into something, you know, when you're really in it? It's constant adjustment that's going to make you move forward. But this is definitely a little spark of inspiration. Sometimes I even see that Page of Wands as a little bit of sex texting. It's kind of that passionate, like, woo, what's that? But, you know, you don't get past that texting, the sassy text, and go on the date. You know, you can have all the buildup you want, but if it's never into the experience of the night, you know, it's all fun and dandy. But the stimulation can go a lot further if you get into the experience. Just saying that. All right. Wow, that just got weird. We just got a little weird for you guys. So moving on from the Page of Wands. Tell us more about what sparked that little, I want to see what the boat now is moving towards. So let's see. We see that it was a little inspiration in somebody's soul. It's getting them, you know, leaving the baggage on behind, taking that tangible offer to a different shore on a journey, recognizing that the treasure is that whole process, not just the where you're leaving or your destination, but let's see where that destination right now, where the next, you know, glance around the corner is for you that you should know about. What is in the near future or something to have awareness of on the shore that boat is heading towards. So you have, this is that, maybe there's going to be this is the 9 of Rods. It's interesting because this is somebody who's been through the ringer, but I kind of feel like that is maybe what was learned. I'm getting this upside down. It's not that you haven't been through a situation where you're like, man, that was rough. I just needed to get to the end. I'm kind of getting that you recognize those situations kind of like they're those storm clouds up there in the sky. And because you've been through the storm, you know how to hold off when the weather gets a little weird. But you've also learned through these situations how to handle yourself with any obstacles or situations that life throws at you with strength. Because I kind of see this like this person's usually a badass, but sometimes this person chooses to handle obstacles that are unnecessary. This could also be, if we go backwards here, what somebody is leaving behind on the shore. It could also be where somebody is always I'm kind of getting always playing the victim, maybe. That could be what was moved away from. If somebody always felt like everything was a battle, they probably are a factor in why everything is so difficult. But, you know, in the unawareness to the role that they played. That might just be giving you awareness of somebody else. Because generally upright, this is somebody who's battled it out, been through some shit. They know what it's like. They usually have a lot of empathy towards others because when they express themselves or they have movement forward and it's a tangible offer, they want to have this passionate experience or inspiring conversation because it feels like such a blessing compared to what they've been through. They also recognize that if others have been through rough situations, they're not like, oh, that sounds like it sucks. So this is about my day. Okay, it's like, no, this person's going to hear you, whoever this is. And I feel like that's maybe you. Maybe you even talked about, you know, how it wasn't always so easy for you or some realistic things. Maybe some of you have never shown how much you've gone through. You know, you're always sort of in this little pink tattoo, or I almost said tattoo, little tutu here. You have a smile on your face. You handle a lot of things gracefully, but that doesn't mean you haven't felt that wound inside. And I kind of feel like you have maybe inspired others to get back up again, or that they can have forward movement in their life, or even with that swords, just to think about those battles in a different way, as a blessing, as a growth experience. to sometimes recognize what you don't want to go through to take you by divine friction into a different direction. Look at what I was going to pull another card and then I looked at that. What's at the bottom? You have the 9. You have 2 9s, 9, 9. I just find it really cool that I had all that bird talk. I just went on a bird tangent for you guys today. And this is the one that has the bird. This is someone that you might look at all the beauty that they have in their life, but not recognize how freaking hard it was to get there. This is somebody that deserves all the luxury they have. This is a self-made man or woman. I mean, I talked a little bit about how hard it is to have a parrot. Can you imagine having a, what is that, falcon? Or an eagle? You know, I'm scared of my little bird's beak. You gotta be kidding me. That takes a lot of, commitment. So this is somebody who has committed to all of the growth and prosperity in their life. This is also where someone's idea of what wealth is, because you're heading to that 10 of Pentacles legacy. But in the 9, you're more in the experience. This is also telling you it's okay to take time out and not have to do everything that feels like a battle and take a break and get a massage. You know, because this is somebody that enjoys their own company. They're like, nope, I can't do it today. Sorry, I have to say no. I'm hanging out with my bird. They're good with that. But sometimes if this person is always hanging out with a bird and not sharing that abundance, because you have grapes here, so that's usually community with others, then there has to be that balance, or there's a missing out of something. There's a missing out of that connection or community. So there is something where you're rising to the top. It wasn't easy getting there. But, you know, we will take a little peek the other way if that is the other way. That is somebody who wants everyone else to do the work, to do the training. And then, you know, if this person is there training and that's not her bird or whoever that is, and then somebody else is like, oh, I have an eagle. I have my falcon. Yes, you know, it was really hard, but then they never feed it. They didn't do any of the training. They didn't spend any time with it, but they want to talk about how they have it. Then that's someone who didn't actually earn all that luxury or doesn't have appreciation for the person that actually put in all the work. They just have expectations. And that's just one way to look at that upside down. With these two together, if they are both upside down, it could be an energy that is being left behind, because if effort was being put in and it was something that looked very pretty on the outside but wasn't so practical when it came to the nitty-gritty, especially if somebody was always the one where everything happened to them and yet they project everything out for everyone else to do it, that's kind of somebody that's the upside down Knight of Pentacles and kind of lazy, not really ever being inspired, talking about things they want to do and then not really having the spiritual maturity to follow through. So I like to look at everything every way, because everybody's situation is different. And even if that is a weird energy, that could be something you are moving away from or have spiritual guidance about. But that could also be somebody else's situation if that makes no sense to you. It could also be giving you a little awareness, spiritual awareness of where certain people might be coming from. And it just means that they are a different place in their soul's evolution than probably you are. So always have that spiritual perspective. Speaking of spiritual perspective, can we get a universe message? Do I have it? I thought I did. I thought I had a universe message, but I do not see the box. I do have the spirit messages though. And since we have your spirit guidance, this is probably the right deck to use. So maybe that other deck got a little lost on my not so messy table for a bigger purpose. So one more message. Final message for the collective to be helpful. Please and thank you. What is the final message? It was really quick. Thank you, Spirit. I always forget that these are the other way around. It's the same message. What does this say? Time, remove all limiting thoughts, open yourself up to new. And you're getting assistance on leaving the baggage behind. This says to let go of the old, and you need to make way for the new. You may find yourself being distracted. Where's your thing? Being distracted by maybe random thoughts. I would say that's probably your logical Leon getting all in the way or trying to question this divine guidance. Divine guidance doesn't always make sense, but it feels right. But when you go in that direction, there's something that sparkles in your soul where you know, okay, there's something I'm gaining out of this. I'm gonna, get through it, get around it, get to it, get from it. So if you're being distracted by random thoughts, fears, or doubts, I love that the same message came around. It's also what I said about your mindset. We all have fears, we all have doubts. We all get in our own ways sometimes, but do you have the self-awareness to switch that around, or do you get lost in it? Don't allow yourself to be governed by them. Simply observe. That's the best thing you can do. Be that neutral. Observe, let it go through you, see where it goes, and then go with what feels like it's your authentic self calling you in a certain direction. And choose to take aligned actions and choices. So when your choices feel in alignment with you, you're not bothered by anyone else's opinions on the direction that you're going, because you trust that the right loyalty is going to want to see you succeed, want to see you grow. Recognize you don't have to have a lid on a box that was set in stone in a certain way as you go through your development of life and soul and such. And the people that embrace who you really are the ones that want you to be your authentic self. Not make choices to make other people happy, or be in alignment with how they feel you should be in alignment. So that's kind of a big message to come through at the end. I hope that was helpful. I stared at this. So let's get one. Let's just get one and see if it's a big message for you. Mystery deck ending. Oh, I like this as the ending. Who's the first name you think of? Before you could think about it, the first name that came to mind. And I'm going to leave you with what that resonates with you in this situation. I love you so very much. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye.